brother. I really appreciate your time. Carving out a little space to talk to a stranger on the internet. And to be honest with you, it's one of my most favorite topics to talk about with another bloke is like slashing that chain, that almost like that generational curse that a lot of blokes end up living within, right? Like they just read off that script and say, okay, this is the rest of my life. So when I came across your stuff, I was like, you know what, I've got to shoot my shot here, like it's an old school Tinder date. But anyway, mate, if you wanted to introduce yourself, I guess you're going to do a way better job than me. And and
Yeah.
and 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 first of all, if you have a strong enough why, you can overcome any how, right? So why generational curses? Why testosterone? Why dudes? Why, Mac?
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. So my name's Mark. I've been a health coach for coming up on 6 years. And it's been an evolution. It was just starting with fitness. And then as I got more and more aligned on my mission and like, my why and connecting to my story, it started to move towards just coaching men. And then it started moving in towards reading blood work and analyzing blood work. And then it started getting really niche and specific with optimizing testosterone naturally. And the deeper I've got into this work, for me, having optimal high levels of testosterone is everything for me because of just how that impacts men's behavior, men's energy levels. Just like it's essentially what makes a man a man. And if that's low, you're going to feel like less of a man. And I don't think there's any man out there that is like, yes, I want to feel like less of a man. I mean, there might be some, but if the majority of them are probably going to be like, yeah, like I would love to feel more like a man. I would love to feel more uh, like how nature intended. Because I know the opposite of that in terms of my story. I was skinny, depressed, didn't have any confidence, no self-esteem, was working a 9 to 5 job as an engineer that I absolutely hated. Like every day I would wake up and be like, this again, like this is terrible. Because my grandfather was an engineer, my brother's an engineer, and my dad was an engineer. So I was just following the path, go to school, get a good job, get good grades, contribute to your 401k, like be a good little boy, follow the path. And that's what I was doing. And that's what a lot of men do, but they don't like a lot of them continue to do that and just don't understand why they're not happy. It's because that system wasn't really laid out for happiness. You're just a cog in the wheel of the grand machine that the point isn't for you to be happy. And so I got to such a dark place that that is what spurred me out of it. Didn't want to do engineering again, got into fitness, got into health, and started down the coaching route. I got my own mentor and he taught me a lot about what he was doing. And that just put me on the path. And I was in 2018 is when I quit my job, traveled around for a bit, and then came back to the States and just hit the ground running, got my personal training certification, was working in gyms. I had like 3 jobs. I was working at a restaurant, which was really fun, but it wasn't like a long-term thing for me. And then COVID happened. That was 2020. Everything shut down, no gyms, no restaurants. So I had this choice continue as I've been going, like take unemployment and just chill, or go all in and build this online business that I've been trying to build on the side. And so obviously I went all in, put 9K on a credit card to join a mentorship, teach me how to build an online business, an online coaching business. And that was in April of 2020 or April of 2026 here. So yeah, pretty much 6 years to the day since I made that decision. And it's just been a wild fucking ride. It's been amazing.
Congratulations, man. I think there's some freedom of almost just taking off the stabilizers and jumping straight in head first, and be like, you know what, like this is either gonna build or burn. I'm gonna go for this. And I think there's a lot of freedom in that, I think there's a lot of creativity in that too. Like once you take off that safety net and you almost place your back against the wall and say there is no reverse gear here, you end up figuring out and finding some beautiful paths along the way. But something that you end up mentioning was I think every man would agree that high testosterone is good, right? They're like, yeah, I agree with that. Everyone's like, yeah, let's just get higher testosterone and either be stronger or feel better or whatever. But a lot of blokes out there don't know why that is good for them. Do you want to jump into that
Yeah.
and give them some benefits, not just you're going to be jacked?
Yeah, like muscle is the obvious one that most guys see, like, oh yeah, let's take TRT so we get jacked. Like, okay, that's like a service level thing, which is great.
Mm,
Um, but more so for me, it's just behavioral and it's like how a man feels. So like we'll talk about
yeah,
if men have low testosterone, what that feels like. It's like low energy, low drive, low motivation, libido and sex drive is going to be low. You're not going to have interest in sex, which for a man is, that's weird.
yeah,
Um, not going to have that gusto, that fire for life, going to feel disconnected from purpose, just like going through the motions. You're going to feel like something's off. And a lot of guys don't really understand why. Like previously when they were younger, they had all the energy and then now they're like, what changed? Usually it's going to be like a hormonal problem. Uh, so for me, like why it's so important, like I said before, it's like what makes a man a man. Low testosterone makes you a shell of yourself.
yeah.
You don't show up with the power. You don't have presence. People can't like feel your energy if you have low T. They can feel like a little boy energy and like an energy that's timid and just not present. And I think a lot of people are missing that general presence and like protection and protecting people that are weaker, having the ability to do that and having the confidence to stand up to someone who's maybe trying to harm other people or trying to harm your family. Like to me, it like thinking about this just like wrecks me in the case of like if I am not able to protect and stand up for my loved ones, like what that would do to me as a man, like it would crush me.
Yeah.
So I really go out of my way to not make that the case.
Mm,
By training, by like being diligent with my mindset. I'm starting to get into running recently, and then also I've always wanted to dive deeper into like martial arts. So like if something were to happen, to have the ability to defend myself, defend the people that I love. And there's a video that just popped in my mind of and I don't know if this is actually true, but we can use it as a case study. Like you might have seen this video too. It went pretty viral. There's a woman who is like at an ATM or at a hotel and like taking out her papers and paying. And then she's with a man. And then these two guys come up and like grab her purse. And the dude who's right next to her like runs around the corner away from the lady getting attacked and like robbed. And then you can see him kind of like peek back over, checking on like what's going on. And she's still being like assaulted by these men trying to steal her money. And then other men come over, like that don't know her, just strangers, and start to beat these guys up and push them off of her and like protect her. And this guy's over there just like watching, and he was with her. So the idea was like that was her partner, boyfriend, and he just like abandoned her. And that is like, I think that's the like very key scenario of what low testosterone does to a man and how that impacts everyone around him, society as a whole. It's just a lot less safer environment and society.
mate, I couldn't agree with you more there, and I think we've fallen into a really weird position when it comes to like our position as blokes within society, right? It's like what is allowed, what's not allowed, what is a guy, what is not a guy, right? But if we push the point of like everybody else around us is negatively impacted when we do not step into this, when you not do not step into yourself, when you become a shell of your own existence, everybody else falls. Like I'd say quite often to young fellas is like at the end of the day, like ladies create, right? But we can either build or break. We have two
Mm.
hands. You get to decide which one you use, right? Build or break. And they're going to create it. They're incredible, right? But you can also nurture it and build it into something better than it ever could have been on its own. And it's up to you. But societally, maybe, cognitively, maybe, spiritually, maybe, usually a combination of all of them combined, right? Physically, throw that in there. Like we are retreating rather than charging forward, and you see it in the eyes of guys on the street. You see it in the things they come out with. You feel it in yourself sometimes, you assess your own provision with certain things, and you're like, actually, I didn't I didn't step up there. And the question is why, and the question is how do we become better? And I go back to I am my brother's keeper, man. I think it's really important like, with people like yourself, like actually open up these conversations, the spaces, even if it is virtually, right? Like it doesn't matter, it's still a frigging space
Yeah.
for people to be like, okay, I'm not alone on this. Because I think a lot of guys want to do this, but they're freaked out because of the crazy 4 or 5 years that we had of everything just
Yeah.
being shut down, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Um,
and just like society's general vibe towards men right now is,
yeah,
we're like
crazy.
worthless and we're not supposed to be around. We're like better off if we were men or women. And I think that plays into it, right? As well.
Yep.
These men want to feel better. They want to step up, but they're being told that they're toxic. They're being told that they're wrong every time they do something. So it's like this confusion of I can't do anything.
Mhm.
Nothing's right. So I'm just gonna not do anything. And I'm just gonna either like if I don't do anything, then I'll be safe. I won't be criticized or ridiculed based on my actions. So that's what I'm seeing a lot, just society wide of men just giving up because of all of the headwinds that they face simply by just being men and like trying to do their best. Like with the dating world, like it's really hard out there. A lot of men just don't feel like they know how to do it or what to do. They're always doing the wrong thing. They can't like it's just tough. Acknowledging that, acknowledging that, and there's also a lot of shame out there in the world towards men from other men as well, of like saying, I'm sure all the comments on that video that I brought up was like shaming that guy, like, how could you? You're a piece of shit. You're like, you're not a man, you're a woman. So it's like this cocktail of all these different factors flying around that just ends up with men just feeling like shit and feeling like they don't belong, which sucks.
What's your anchor? What's something that centers you back to you, or centers you back to your mission, or centers you back to, okay, I'm having a shite day, but this is going to bitch slap me with a wet salmon and put me back on the straight line?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I've actually been navigating this the past few days. Like I've been feeling pretty shit, but what helps me is action. And like I have a few non-negotiables that I've been committing to. And just I come back to that, like
Yeah.
removing all the emotion, removing all the feeling. Like as long as I do these things and check off this list, I'm moving forward and I'm getting closer to where I know I can be. And then emotionally connecting back to like it's purpose-based. I've run men's retreats and men's intensives. And after that, I always feel just like so on fire and so amazing. So I connect back to that of like the work that I'm doing is changing lives and is transforming lives. And a lot of men really need this. So like connecting to that and looking back at old version of me, like I needed the version of the man that I am right now so bad. And so connecting to that and making sure that all of this growth and all that time to become this, it doesn't go wasted because it would be such a shame if I were to stop or if I were to give up and let the external forces win and give up, which to me just isn't an option. Like giving up, there's what's the Marty Supreme like that doesn't even enter my consciousness. Like
Consciousness. Yeah.
yeah, like that's me when it comes to giving up on this. Like I will find a way because I understand because it's for him. It's for the young version of myself. Like I couldn't look him in the eyes and be like, "Yeah, we gave up because it got too hard." Like what the fuck? Absolutely not. So that's those few things like anchor me and continue allowing me to just move forward even when times get tough and it just feels like nothing's working, which a lot of times it does feel like that.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. It's not a linear path. It's not a straight line, man. It goes up and down, and most of the time it feels like it's going down, and then it rockets up, and you're like, "Fuck, I've made a 1% gain. Shit, I'd do it all over again, man." And I love the way you actually broke that down because you broke down three heads of the triangle, right? You went for the reflective of going back into the memory. You went for the progress, i.e., the action, the unemotional, let's be logical men and do things. And then you went, you
Yeah.
know what? Let me also be emotional too. Let's get rid of the other two. Let's sit in it. And let's actually like assess the emotion that you get from the retreats and the elation that you see in yourself and then everybody else around, right? And I think it's really important that we address those three heads of the triangle as dudes because we're, let's be honest, idiots, Neanderthals, and something means we, I don't know whether we get scared of one thing or we push back on certain heads of the triangle, but most of us end up just going into this progress, this somatic, this let me just go fight,
Mhm.
and then some of us have the flight as well, which is fair enough. But that's why I get back in the gym, man. Put a heavy barbell in my hands or on my back that literally wants to fold me like a deck chair, and like you can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, something that is literally going to punch you in the face and be like, right, center yourself now. But then you have to pull yourself out of it. You can't just sit there. It can't just purely be physical and like that's my only option is to just go in and punch a punch bag or go in and like lift a barbell. You're like, no, 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 no. Like we actually need to have these pretty in-depth conversations. And if it's uncomfortable, still do it.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
that's the big thing right there. Like I tell my clients this all the time. Whatever they're avoiding or whatever is making them uncomfortable the most, like that is a sign for you to lean in and do it. Because that's where I've seen my most growth of the shit that I'm so afraid of, the shit that
Yeah.
I've been avoiding for a long time. Like once I finally do it, on the other side of that is so much abundance and just like gold, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, physically, like all of the leads
Yeah.
on the other side of what you're avoiding and what's uncomfortable. And like, of course, it's a cliche, do hard shit. But really, though, like truly from an experiential lens, until you do it, you don't really understand. You know it logically, like, yeah, whatever, I get it. I'm gonna not. But yeah, once you do that and you consistently do it, the rate at which you move forward and grow is astronomical. So that's like a pillar that I talk about too, and that connects back to testosterone. Because like when you do hard things, when you compete, when you overcome challenges, when you solve problems, that's giving your body the signal that it needs more testosterone to keep up with the demands of your life, which I don't think a lot of people really understand that. And then also not many people are talking about it that way. So that's why I love the connection between like I talk about how where I sit is the bridge between men's health and men's work because like we're combining all this stuff and the main thing is like optimizing hormones so that you become like the unchained man, which is the like end result that I always am pushing for.
Can you say that again between the work and the
Yeah, I sit where like the bridge between men's health
Yep.
and men's work.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's good, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you done this before, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Brother, so give me a snippet. I don't mean clip it, but I mean give us a snippet in terms of right, you're now reaching through the computer screen, you've grabbed everybody by the scruff of the neck, and you're having a conversation with them in terms of blokes and be like, right, if you do nothing else, do these three things, testosterone's going to improve, your life's going to change, you're going to be a better guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. So I think one would be coming back to what we already talked about, like find what you've been avoiding, find what's uncomfortable, lean in and do it. Two would be, I mean, just foundational health things like eat whole foods, eat nutritious foods, get into the gym, train, do a little cardio, get outside, get sunlight, like the foundational health things. A lot of guys are just fucking that up. And foundationally, those are the big, and then sleep as well. Make sure you're recovering. Sleep is going to be massive. So just like foundational health, get that on point. And then where I come into is like with the blood work and the optimization stuff, like we see, okay, maybe you have some foundations on point. Now let's get bloods. let's get a lot more specific to see how we can ramp it up even more and what maybe is a health handbrake. So like the brake, we pull the brake up. And so you're moving, you're like foot's on the gas, but you're not going as fast as you can. That's because there's maybe some health handbrakes, cortisol, thyroid, liver stuff, like could be you name it. So then we get more specific with the blood work and start to put the health handbrakes down so people can just achieve their goals a lot faster. So that's two. Three would be start living like from the high tea lifestyle. And that's something I talk about. Competition challenge, pursuing romantic partners, leaning into avoidance. So for this, I'll say like competition. I think men, especially getting into upper 20s, 30s, and 40s, there's not much competition for them. Like that tends to die out as we age. And I think that's like a pillar in my life. Like I play soccer. You can compete with yourself in the gym, but just getting around environments where you're competing with other men, that is like a physiological, biological kickstart for the hormonal process. Because if you think about it, evolutionarily, we evolved, and the men with higher testosterone levels, they got the mate because they were able to dominate and compete and win. And then that like when you win, you get more testosterone as well. So recreating that evolutionary environment just in the modern day as much as you can, because that's going to give your brain and your body the signal like, oh, we're competing, we're doing this a lot. We should probably increase the testosterone so we can keep up and like continue winning. So that would be the third thing.
I think it's crazy how evolutionary and throughout time, higher testosterone has been like, okay, that's what we need. That is the apex. You're going to end up, quote unquote, winning through society, right? And now it's almost just flipped that on the head. It's actually low. So what have we created here? Like, I need to be able to sit at my computer desk and not ask any questions, and my mind just be focused on, or hyper focused, I should probably say, on this one thing. I sleep 5 hours a night. I can just be an absolute bitch for the machine. Like, and sometimes it baffles me and I get really curious. And other times I say, you know what? I start window shopping for cabins in the woods. I say, get me the fuck out of here, man. I'm gonna go. I told you, I'm gonna go to fucking split logs and grow my carrots and say, fuck this, I'm gone. You know, like
Yeah.
it's wild. Like, and I don't know if that's a natural evolution, whether we might be getting into tinfoil hat shit, but I don't know if that's a natural evolution of where we were actually supposed to go, or whether we just deviated from the path slightly and go, let's just
Yeah.
double down on this technology thing and let's just like literally double down on compressing what it means to be a human being,
Yeah.
animalistically anyway.
Yeah, we can. I mean, I love a good conspiracy, and I also think it's it's like yes, but then also if we look at like big companies, big corporations, they're the ones pulling the strings, and their main thing that they want to get is profit. So how do we create profit? We just make things a lot more convenient. So like create plastic, reusable plastic, so people are using this, but it also has endocrine disruptors. It's really cheap to make, but the health from the user using it, we don't care about that. So like it's been a profit first model and health hasn't been cared about. So, it's just kind of like runaway of we'll just make whatever we need to make, cut costs, make profit as much as possible because that's what the investors want. That's how we move forward. That's how we show growth. That's how we keep the machine running. And it's just been at the cost of health and hormones.
It's
Because like
crazy.
pollution as well is going to lower tests like endocrine disruptors and chemicals that are like, oh, this cleans really well and it's cheap, but it has a cost of being an endocrine disruptor and a chemical that's going to ruin your testosterone.
Sorry for jumping in, but it's crazy, how fast this has actually happened, right? Like in terms of mass production, globalization, like we're not talking 500 years, you know?
Yeah.
So they didn't have to think very far down the line. All they had to think about was their grandkids, or maybe one more, maybe even one less. rather than like, I'm going to think about how many dollars I can make today. It's like, we could just
Yeah.
think literally 5, 10 years, 15 tops, and be like, we're probably going to be in a worse position. But I'm just not going to have the same job. I'm going to have a promotion. Yeah, but like your garden that you've not tended to is going to be fucking yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're starting to see that too, of just like the systems have just been running without any checks. Um, and then you'll eventually see the ramifications of that. I think it's interesting too, because I feel like that's just human nature as and like technology as well. Of like as technology advances, we have computers now, we've got cell phones, and now we have AI, and that just like makes the human experience so much more convenient. So we don't have to do things anymore. We don't have to go out, grow our own food, be out in the sun, physical labor. Like we don't have to do all this stuff because technology's taking care of that. So I think there's going to be another until it corrects. With AI, it's only going to make things worse because you'll never have to leave your house. Like even now, you do have to leave your house every now and then, but with AI just doing everything, we're going to see even less because there's no need. There's no need for testosterone. It's getting like almost like not breeded out of us, but it's like based on how everyone lives these days, it's more likely for men to have low T than high T based on how society is set up. And it has to be you have to be pretty intentional and direct to break out of that system and have high testosterone. And that's like another thing with it as well. I think having high testosterone is the ultimate fuck you to the system because it's like lower testosterone men, they're more easily controlled.
Yeah.
They're not going to have boundaries. They're going to be like, oh, okay, daddy government says he wants to do this. Okay, whatever. Less people are going to stand up. So I know a lot of people talk about, oh, we need to change the system. We need to do this. But in reality, my opinion, addressing ourselves is where you start. So
Mm.
like I need to address you talked about the garden. Like I need to address my garden, make sure my garden is good, my hormones, my health is on point, so that then I can continue my mission and I can continue to be in service and help other people. Rather, most people are always just like complaining about things outside of them. They're giving their power away. It's making them upset. Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. Like, yeah, whatever. He's an idiot. He's not an idiot. Like, it doesn't matter. But it's the idea of focusing on external things and just like having no power, giving your power away, making yourself such a victim. And that's that's pretty low T as well.
Fucking A, man. Like, and I also love you for saying that, of holding up a mirror in front of everybody's face and say, listen, man, the world's fucked. It's crazy, right? But it's also beautiful. Like, address what you can address for you, right? And then you can also look after that wee local community around you. And then maybe that sphere of influence can grow, right? Like, I left the UK a long time ago, man. And like, it started scaring the shit out of me. Like, just people stuck in this kind of pointing fingers, it's your fault type thing. I said, what the fuck happened to you people, man? You used to be savages. Like, and
Mm,
now you just sit there crying about spilt milk. I said, fuck this, I can't be in this environment, man. And then you leave, and then everybody's still pointing at somebody else. You're like, fuck me dead, mate. What have you didn't even say hello to the barista who made you coffee in the morning, mate.
yeah.
Like you treat your missus like shit. Like you haven't gone to the gym in fucking 20 years. Like, how about we just read one paragraph for fuck's sake? Just use the stairs. Mate, I get off a plane. If I go home, tell you what, me and the missus went home. She's from Chile, right? We went home and it was like 13-hour flight, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Don't quote me. We've been sat on our ass for 13 hours. You know how many people use the escalator? Fucking
Yeah.
everybody. It's like, are you fucking joking me? You've been sat on your fat ass for 13 hours. You can't walk up 4 flights of stairs?
Yeah.
Mental. But
That's the state of the world.
you got me fired up on a soapbox. Take this microphone away from me, otherwise I'm gonna get
Yeah.
fucking cancelled. But fuck up,
No, it's an important conversation to have, man.
fucking a,
I think more people need to have it.
fucking a, fucking a, brother. I got one more question. I'll let you off. I know you got a busy day and me fucking up Technical difficulties is bound to happen. I'm blind, like I said.
Yeah, all good.
If you could ask Mother Nature one thing, what would it be?
Hmm. That's a good question. Mother Nature. I'm really into, like I said, like conspiracies. Um, I would I want to ask like a very general question, like show me the truth. Like I want to know the truth, the secrets of the world. Like I feel like I have a decent understanding of what I could possibly fathom, but I want to know everything. I'm so curious about how the world works, the things that we can't see, like what we like our visual spectrum. I don't know the percentages of, but like we see like 5% of what's actually there. We can perceive only a small percentage of what's actually there. Like I would ask, like, what else is there? Like, what can I not perceive? What do I not know? Stuff like that. Just really under wanting to know the truths of the world and understand everything.
So with great power comes great responsibility, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wishing to be Neo out of the Matrix. I'm not
That's
sure I
why the
want that.
point. Like why? Yeah, I'd probably explode with all that information, but at least
Yeah, maybe.
I would know for maybe zero point 0.1 second, and then I could, die happy.
Or maybe you transcend from a human being and you'd just be consciousness itself.
I mean that, that's possible as well.
We're getting real
Maybe
typical of that.
maybe on the other side, that's what death is.
Ooh, I guess we're all going to find out.
Yep.
Mike, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do. We'll touch base. If I'm ever in Texas, I'll give you a fucking flick. And we'll get a
Yeah.
workout in, man.
Hell yeah. Where are you based?
I'm in Sydney, man. I'm in Australia.
Oh, you're in Australia. Oh, fuck yeah. So my girlfriend's in Australia.
No way.
I go to, I'm headed to the Gold Coast in July.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'll see if we got some time to come up to GC.
Yeah, awesome, bro.
All right, man. Take it easy and we'll speak soon.
Yeah, later.
Bye, everybody.